We need a new work culture fitting a society where both wife and husband work and take care of a home together. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I can see some familiar faces among ambassadors and distinguished guests and speakers sitting with me. The Honorable Vice Minister. I'd like to thank the Director of UN Women's Center of Excellence for Gender Equality here, which was recently established actually, be able to be among you and to share what I think about gender equality with you, even though I'm a man. I would first like to say that this is a very timely and significant event as one of the first activities by the center, by the UN Women's Center of Excellence for Gender Equality. In most societies, the numbers of men and women are roughly equal. However, women have long been subject to a variety of discrimination and disadvantages, often being denied access to education and access to the same opportunities as men. A few years ago, I had a chance to visit Lady Margaret Hall of Oxford University in England, which is the first women's college there, which opened in 1879. Eglantine Jebb, the founder of Save the Children, an organization I represent in Korea, was an early graduate of that college. But she was not given an academic degree because Oxford started to award degrees to female students only in 1920. The situation was a little better in the United States, where in the 1830s, the first 1830s, Wesleyan became the first female college in the world, and Oberlin, the first co-ed college in the United States. Still, in the beginning, the co-ed schools didn't treat male and female students equally. Believe it or not, the first year Oberlin College began admitting women, female students were dismissed from classes on Monday to do male students' laundry, according to the school history. When it comes to political rights, women in the United Kingdom got their voting rights in 1918. American women got their rights in 1920, which was 50 years after African American men were given voting rights through the 15th Amendment. As such, progress for gender equality has been painfully slow, even in the early democracies such as the United States and the United Kingdom. Therefore, it is not surprising that the United Nations Charter of 1945 emphasized the equal rights of men and women in its first paragraph. And it is not surprising that one of the first subsidiary bodies created by the United Nations was the Commission on the Status of Women, or CSW, which still meets every year. Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948 said, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. In 1979, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, was adopted. And in 2011, as you know, UN Women was established to achieve gender equality and empower women and girls. That was during Secretary Ban Ki-moon's time. Thanks to all these efforts, we have come a long way in advancing gender equality objectives, particularly in traditional societies like Korea. According to OECD, female labor force participation rate for South Korea grew from 47% in 1990 to 53% in 2021. During the same period, the total rate for all OECD countries has remained around 52%. When I just joined the foreign service back in the 1980s, there were so few female diplomats that we all knew them by name. Now, more than 60% of new recruits in the foreign ministry every year are female. However, the increase in women's participation in society does not automatically lead to achieving gender equality. In Korea and in many other societies, women and girls still face obstacles to equal rights and opportunities deriving from prejudice, misperception, and traditions. Often, they still need access to quality education, economic resources, and political participation. The most recent SDGs report by the United Nations last year says the world is not on track to achieve gender equality by 2030. And the social and economic fallout from the pandemic has made the situation even bleaker. Wherever you are in the world, women have a great deal of difficulties in maintaining work-life balance, in addressing their personal lives in the context of their careers. When I was ambassador to the United Nations, South Korea was a member of the Security Council, and those working with me on the council virtually worked around the clock. One day, I saw a female colleague working overtime in her office with her child around eating sandwich. Obviously, she had to do overtime every night, and it didn't make sense to get a babysitter every night. Next morning, I called her and asked her if she wanted me to reassign her to less demanding responsibilities. But she said she was fine, and she was able to manage it. Every diplomat knows, there are many diplomats here, every diplomat knows her country's membership in the Security Council comes only once in decades. Actually, for South Korea, another opportunity will come next year. And nobody wants to miss out on this opportunity if you are a diplomat. This episode shows the problem we have about the concept of work-life balance. Work-life balance is not just about how to secure enough time for your private life. It is more about how to do that without undermining what you think is necessary for a successful career. So it's not like men pursue success in career while women just try to earn livelihood. In reality, neither of them wants to lose out in the game. This partly explains why South Korea's fertility rate, the world's lowest, still keeps going down despite increased social support for childcare. Like many other societies, we have long had work culture based on the assumption that one side of the married couple works outside while the other side takes care of the home. This is outdated. We need a new work culture fitting a society where both wife and husband work and take care of a home together. This change seems to be taking place today, but very slowly. How to facilitate this transformation might be something we all need to contemplate when it comes to achieving gender equality. It is not just for women, but for men as well, because after all, it takes two to tango. Thank you very much.